All right. Well, I won't waste too much of your time here. I could go into a long bio, but if you're here right now, I figure you already know who this guy is. And if you don't already know who he is, by the time you leave, you're not going to forget him. So, without any further ado, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the stage to KRS-One.
Yes! Yes! Yes, please be seated. Please. We are going to get right to the point. Usually I start out with questions, but I'm going to just get right to it because it's very important that you're here today. And you know, most speakers would say, "Oh, thank you for coming out. It's so important that you're here today." La 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 la. But the point, the real point is that it really is important that you are here today, and here's why. Because when you're trying to be successful in life, and when I say trying to be as opposed to actually being it,
House of Harley.
You're trying to be, when you think you want to be successful at what you do. Most people think you got to get hooked up, you got to know the right people, you got to have some money, you got even have an education, you got to have some knowledge. All of that's not true. What you're going to learn today is the secret to success is character. Character. And you showing up here today proves your character. More than anything else, yesterday I had a phenomenal time on stage. It was just crazy. I was just doing my thing. I thought that was going to be it. I ended the show and bam! Here comes the mayor with the key to the city. Woo! Now, that's a high honor for me. I had to just humble myself quickly to that one. And I thank you, the city, for that. But I tell you this. All the people that were out there, out of all the people, we all had a good time. People got the message. They got the songs. They know what it was. But when we said higher knowledge is being discussed tomorrow, only you showed up. Big respect to everybody out there yesterday, no doubt. But what I'm talking about here is character. Who are you, really? When the word of God is out front and center, are you listening? When wisdom is being spoken by an elder, are you listening? When a book manages to just fall in your lap and it has the title you've been looking for, are you reading it? Knowledge comes to everybody, but everyone ain't a student. The teacher is always around. You pass teachers all day, but you just can't see it. And not you, because you're here. Others that really are sincere about their success in life, they're really sincere. They still didn't come here today. And this is the point. Only those who are what I would call spiritually minded, those whose soul is open, those who are seeking truth, that's why you're here. Sure, you enjoyed the concert, but your soul knew that there was something else you needed to know. Everybody didn't need to know this. What I'm going to give you today is not for everyone. People always say, well, don't you want to sell the most records or the biggest crowd? Nah, not really. Not if you're discussing success. Success is, I'd rather sell 100 records to the right people than 1,000,000 records to the wrong people. What is a million records to the wrong people? Just anybody. I put my record out, let's shake your booty to the ground. 1 million people buy that. Of course it's just hypest music. But if you sell to the right 100 people, 20 years later you get the key to the city. Somewhere along the line, the mayor of your city picked up KRS. He was one of the 100 people. So we're going to discuss today character from a deep level, and I hope you get it in your head. What I'm discussing is 10,000-year-old knowledge. It's not in really any books. I'm trying to write my books quickly so that this can be out. But right now, you're not going to find this in any books. You're not going to find it DVDs or whatever. They hint toward it. But again, this knowledge is not for everyone. It's only for those that deserve it. You're here. You deserve this. Let's get started. First and foremost, like I said, this is 9,000-year-old knowledge. Why 9,000 years? Well, most of us believe that our history begins in the country in which we're in. Oh, what's that? That's nice. I can rap to that. Don't get it twisted. Most people believe that, well, their history begins in whatever nation they're in. And that's cool for national history. But when you start talking about success, you're going to have to get something beyond your national history, your family history, the history of your specific city, block, or even your town. You got to get beyond that. Why is it important to discuss 9,000-year-old history? Because that's where you're really from. For us black people, our history does not begin at 1619 Jamestown, Virginia. That's a lie. This is what we've been taught as a national identity. All white people owning slaves in Virginia, that too is a lie. That's what we've all been taught as a national identity. Do you realize that there are more people in prison today than all the slaves before the Civil War, the 1800s? I mean, just stop for a minute. All of slavery in the early part of the 1800s still didn't have as many people in prison today. We have more slaves today than when you think slavery was. You know the prison system's a slave system, you know that. So why are we all going in there? Character. Character. Some of us are set up, straight up. President Barack Obama just released who knows how many inmates. I heard him do it twice. 6,000 from federal prison, a couple of hundred from state prisons around the world. And what did they come up with? They said that they found out that certain cities were actually targeting all communities, not just black. All communities were being targeted for tickets so that the city could make money on the tickets. The Justice Department figured it out and said most of these people who are in prison don't even supposed to be there. 6,000 people just got released. But you got to ask yourself, whether you've been in prison, not been in prison, or if you feel you're on your way, what's your character? You could be in prison. That doesn't mean prison is in you. You could be free and still be an inmate. Walking around here today, I see prisoners walking around all the time. Sometimes I go to the 7-Eleven, I got my soda and a little water, and the person taking my money is a prisoner. How do I know that? Character. The way you approach me, the way you talk to me, the way you deal with me, I know where you're going. The first few words out your mouth, I can size up your whole character. The things you're attracted to. I could size up your whole character. I could tell you your whole future just based on what your character is attracted to. 10,000 years ago, there was a place called Cush. One of the greatest civilizations on the planet. Cush was an African civilization. It was a queendom. It was run by women. The women that ran Cush were called Kandakes. These women were special. They could see the future. They talked to the dead. They were mediums. They talked to the dead. They were seers. They could see the future, predict the future. And they used to talk to birds. They used to look at the way birds fly, and then they could tell you what was about to go down in that land. These were real people. Some still exist today. But because psychic abilities and so on have been so commercialized, somebody says, yo, I'm a psychic. You'd be like, I get out of here. You don't really know. Psychic ability and being able to see the future, talk to the dead, mediumship, this was your original talent. This is what was taken away from us or reversed. Now we believe that to talk to the dead is some kind of devil worship. To be able to read someone else's mind, oh, you some kind of weirdo. But if you don't have these skills, you will not be successful. You look at any successful person, dig up their history, dig it up. Somewhere along the line, they was on their knees, hands clenched. Whatever God they praised, they were praising. Whatever. Nobody gets here by natural means. The more you stay natural, the more you're going to be locked into natural law. The more you stay an average human being, I'm just average, ain't nothing special about me. Sometimes we call that humility. No, that's called failure. I ain't nobody, I'm just me. 9,000 years ago, there was a kingdom called Cush, and the Kandakes taught young children how to be gods. We don't teach how to be gods anymore because the Western society in which we live in says that that's blasphemy. The worst thing you can do in a religious setting is call yourself God. You want to get kicked out of a church, a mosque, or a synagogue quickly? Stand up and say, I am God. You go to the Bible, John chapter 10. When you get a chance, just read the whole story. But John chapter 10 begins the story where the Jewish elders, of course, angry with Jesus because of his teachings, they come to him and they come to him with stones. They say, we're going to kill you right now. We're going to stone you right now. We got big bricks. We're going to hit your head with it. Jesus says, for a good work, or should I say this? Let me go back. They say, for good works, that's not what we stoning you for. We know you heal the sick. We know you made blind people see. We know that you do these works that nobody else can do. We know this. But the reason we want to kill you is because you say you God. See, we Christians are walking around praising Jesus. Jesus never asks for our praise. There's nowhere in the Bible that Jesus says, praise me. Nowhere. Jesus said, imitate me. Do what I do. Talk how I talk. Match my character. This is what the lesson was. Jesus taught the lesson. What was the lesson? Jesus said, if you ever want to see somebody following me, Take a look at what they're doing. And he quickly went over to one of his disciples and started tying their shoes, started oiling their feet. People would come around and say, but master, you're the master. He's the servant. What? You're the teacher. That's the student. What? You're the boss. That's the employee. What? Why are you on your knees tying this person's shoes or oiling their feet? Jesus said, this is what my disciples look like. To be truly king, you must be a servant. Those walking around claiming king, well, those are the true servants. That's why the Western culture says that politics, those who join politics, what they call them, public servants. That's their real title, public servant. Because to rule means you have to serve.
House
to
of
really
Harley.
be the head, like this building right here, okay? This building. The one who is really in charge of this building is the one that protects it. The one that cleans it up. The one that repairs it. Those are the true rulers of the building. Not the owner of the university. No, the person that sweeps up after we leave. That's the true authority here. So I give you this piece first on character, just a little piece. Without the soul, there is no success. What is success? You want to go from the position you're in to a whole nother position. If you're in the position, there used to be a saying that says, if you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you always got. But then it stops there. It doesn't go any further. Okay, so here I am in my environment. I want to get out. I want to do something better with myself. I know I'm more than what it is right now. How do I get past the environment that I'm in right now? Well, first, you have to become beyond the environment you're in. Beyond it. I'll say it again. You are here in this environment. You want to be successful, which means you're not comfortable in the environment you're in. The environment you're in is poverty. The environment you're in, sickness, hatred, ignorance. This is the environment you say, I want to get out of that. How do you get out of that? First, you have to think past it. If you keep agreeing with it, you're never going to get out of it. If you keep saying that your environment is real, this is my real life, G. This is how I'm really living. You may be right, but your technique for success is wrong. Sure, you're standing in a place where nothing's going on, no one's around, no opportunity anywhere. But this is the meaning of success. This is what the miracle is. There was no way to get out. I had no money, no nothing, but somehow I got out. Only supernatural forces can do that. Only a knowledge that is beyond the material world can get you out of the material world, can make you successful beyond the material world. You need new knowledge. Whatever you don't have is not because you're poor. It's because you don't know. Knowledge begins wealth, not money. Nobody with money ever made money. Money don't make money. Knowledge makes money. When you know something, like if you knew right now where $1 million was, you wouldn't be here. You'd be like, good looking, Chris. Now I know. There's $1 million for me, right? Because I know. But the problem is we don't know. And even worse than that, those that do know keep the knowledge from us. Poverty is not about money, it's about awareness. I'll give you a small story. I'll digress for a minute. So I'm homeless in the shelter. I left home when I was like 15. My mother taught me the greatest knowledge in the world, knowledge of myself. I was raised on that. My mother was in the 60s, heavy. Malcolm X, she was always at the lectures when he was giving lectures in Harlem. She was there. She claimed to be part of the Black Panthers. I never saw the Black Blazer, but I grew up in African studies. My mother always put that on us. So I became 15. School no longer worked for me. My mother was telling me that my ancestry was in the United States, or should I say my ancestry was in the Americas 5,000 years ago. We were called the Olmecs. We were already in Mexico. Started Mexican culture. Before the Incas, before the Mayans, before the Aztecs, black people were in Mexico. 25,000-ton heads of black folk right there in Mexico. My mother was showing me that. I'm like 13. I go to school. The teacher's like, well, Christopher Columbus discovered America and your history begins with slavery. I go back home. Mom, they're telling me this, this, and this, and you telling me this, this, and this. What's the truth? She said, what I'm telling you is the truth, but I need you to go to school. I couldn't understand that. I left home at 15. My mother was distraught. We started arguing over her knowledge. True story. I'm 16 now. I'm out in the street in the hood, Brooklyn. It's like 83, somewhere around 82, 83. I'm running up and down Brooklyn, Prospect Park, Wingate Park, Erasmus High School. Those that know Brooklyn, Flatbush, Church Avenue. I'm running up and down them streets, sleeping outside. I get on the D train. I take the D train up and down, sleep on the train, sleep in the park. This is where I was. But I never forgot what my mother told me, and I loved the knowledge. So in the daytime, I would go to the Brooklyn Public Library. Because if you was outside, the truant officers would see you and grab you and either take you home or take you to school. And worse than the truant officers were the gangs. See, when I was growing up, the gangs were not like today. You didn't even fear the cops. You feared the gangs. The gangs would be like, yo, blood, what you ain't in school for? This was gang members, full jacketed up, ragged up. You walk past the gang house, they'd be like, yo, blood, what you doing? You better get back to school. You'd be like, whoa. No, the gangs used to police the community. They were coming off the Black Panther Party's ideas. Just looked at them on time to go into it now. But most of the East Coast, most of the gangs in America from 1965 to 1975, these were the community leaders. Well, I had to dodge them. Dodge the cops, the truant officer. So I ran into the Brooklyn Public Library. You could be there all day if you got a book in front of you. So I pulled down Aristotle. What he got to say? Oh, he said that the Greeks are the greatest people in the world and they should be enslaving everybody else. Word, Aristotle? I went from here, I went over to Socrates. Went over to Plato. I went over to all these people. Came up, Rene Descartes, 17th century, Francis Bacon. I'm sitting there. I'm about 16. I'm reading up on these philosophers. And I like what they're saying. I actually had a mind for it. I could actually understand what they were saying. And what they were saying was so racist. I kept looking and digging for other stuff. I kept looking. I can't be that. Nah. Let me look over here. Let me get Kant, Immanuel Kant. Let me just deal with him. Damn, he racist too. Damn, let me go over here to Nietzsche. Nietzsche, what's up, Nietzsche? Come on, man. He racist too and lost his mind at the end of his life. So then I started digging further. My mother said, but wait, the Greeks learned from the Africans. Why don't you go back and try to find that? None of that was in the library, though. What my mom's was talking was not in the library. I'm like, Mom, where you get these books from? You had to go to the elder that was selling tapes, books on the corner. And they had the books. The library didn't even have them. But I got a chance to see Western philosophy. I got a chance to see what it was. And I came across this thing called metaphysics. It was a branch of philosophy that deals with reality. It deals with time, space, essence, being. Why are you? Not who are you. Why are you? So I got into metaphysics, and through metaphysics, I bumped into this place called Alexandria, which was one of the greatest metaphysical college, or just one of the greatest colleges for knowledge on the African continent. And when I got over to Alexandria, then I got to Africa. Now, mind you, take a side note here. I tried to study Egypt, but when I was studying Egypt, they said Egypt wasn't in Africa. See, we going back. Some of y'all might remember the 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston. And, you know, Charlton Heston being a white man, and Yul Brynner, a white man, and others with there. So we grew up believing that Egyptians were white. And when you go to school, you learn that there's Egypt and then there's Africa. So when I got to this place called Alexandria, started studying, wow, this is Timbuktu. Oh, word, what's that? Then I started looking at some maps. All this in the Brooklyn Public Library, by the way. Stop. There was 1,000 other kids that were also playing hooky from school. To get to the library, you had to pass the liquor store, basketball courts, drug spots, all that. I saw it all. It just didn't match my character. Again, I was in the mix, saw it all, in the hood like everybody else. Just didn't match my character. I was seeking knowledge. I wanted to know the truth at a young age. So I saw the liquor store, but I didn't need that yet. And notice I said yet. I saw it, it just wasn't there for me yet. I said, let me just move on. I'm on my way to the library. This is where my character is leading me to. I get there, I start pulling books, I start learning. Days go by, 8 hours go by on one book. You're like, wow, time flies learning. How often do we pass by our own opportunity? Say, I want to be successful. And then we do everything against our own success. We go everywhere where we're not going to be successful, then we say we want to be successful. The library is free. Let me tell y'all something. I eventually left school at the 8th grade. I got dropped out. I got dropped out. I got left back in the 8th grade. Then I got left back again in the 8th grade. I said, man, this ain't for me. Straight D student, F's all the way down my report card. Absent, 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 absent. When I was there, I failed. But I loved the library. That was my place. Terrible at school. I educated myself. Taught myself what I needed to know. Now I teach at Harvard twice a year. Yale don't stop calling me. Big up the Spelman, man, Vassar, Morehouse, you name it. We've done over 500, 600, 700 universities in my lifetime. I don't even have a high school diploma. I got honorary PhDs though. I got 3 of them. 3, you can call me Dr. Parker, but I don't feel I earned them. The professors were just blown away at my books, not even my art. They don't care about that in the university. You got to be a scholar. But I realized the word, I was autodidactic is what they call it. Autodidactic, self-taught. As I was studying philosophy, I realized Aristotle was self-taught. Played all these dudes. All the great thinkers were self-taught. Started going a little further. I said, you know what? If I'm going to be successful, don't I need to teach myself? Say it again. If I'm going to be successful, I'm going to have to educate myself. No one else is going to teach me how to be successful. America is about competition, not cooperation. So you enter the educational system, you're entering a system of competition. The system's not really interested in you being successful. The educational system is interested in you responding to authority. The educational system says respond to authority reflexively. They say jump, how high? Anytime you see authority, you're supposed to look. If you get past that, then education is about getting a job. What is education? Preparing you for the workforce. And that's the heights of education. I'm talking about the highest level of education is for you to get a job. That's horrible. That's horrible. What a crime against your mind. Today you're going to learn how to get out of that. I digress for a little bit just to show you a little bit of my background. Yeah, you're looking at a high school dropout. Wait a minute, what am I talking about high school dropout? I'm a junior high school dropout. I never been in high school. Take that in. How now is it KRS-One? Knowledge reigns supreme. Knowledge reigns supreme. Character. Character. Not how many degrees you got. What's your character? What's your soul like? What do you gravitate toward? Sure, it is throw your hands in the air. But now it's time to sit down and learn who's here. Now we're going to see the true gods of the city. Now we can really see the future of the city. It's here. So, character is about soul. No soul, no character. This is why it's always good to have a spiritual background. It's good to have a spiritual background. Yes, it is. Because a spiritual background gives you character, if nothing else. Notice how they took the 10 Commandments out of society. Crime rate went up. ACLU says that the 10 Commandments in the public is against separation of church and state. At no time in human history was the state ever separated from the church. America is the first time in human history you get a separation of government and spirit or soul or religion. America's the only place to do that. The only place. Everybody else, you can't rule without God. The people got to know your God force first. Then you could be the president, the king, the queen, whatever. Only America says we are above God. Only America does this. We are above God. We have something called a state. And that ain't got nothing to do with God. We can exist without God. This is how we're being taught. Now, if you are a spiritual person, this is destroying your soul. You may not feel it. You may not even know it. You may not even see it. But you're living in an environment that's eating away at your soul. More than half the American population is depressed. Again, more than half of the American population is depressed, sad, hopeless. We go to church all the time. Church. We're not getting nothing. School, we're not getting nothing. Mosque, synagogue, Muslims going through the same thing. Jews going through the same thing. I had a Jewish brother tell me the other day, he said, man, when I go to synagogue, I feel like I'm in McDonald's. He was just aggravated, with the money talk. He was like, what happened to the Kabbalah? One of the greatest spiritual scripts ever written. The Kabbalah. Dig that word up too with homework. Look that up. Kabbalah. Jewish knowledge. Your knowledge. So now let's get deep. 9,000 years ago, you got Kush. You couldn't be a part of Kush unless you had Kush character. Most people today, black people, we walk around. Some of us know Kush. Some of us know Egypt. Some call it Kemet. Some of us know Kush. We call it Nubia. Some of us know, But all of these are Western terms. Even Kush is a Western term. All of these terms, Kush, Nubia, Egypt, Kemet, Ethiopia, all of this is like saying nigger, 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 nigger. The Egyptians hated the Kushites. That's why they called them Kush. Kush is a derogatory term that the Egyptians call those black people. Ethiopia or Ethiop. The Greeks used to call us Aethiops. It means burnt face. We got black people walking around, I'm Ethiopian. No, you're not. Ethiopia is a derogatory term given to us by Greeks. Kemet, Egypt, all that's foreign. Because your original people didn't name themselves. We had no concept of name. Outsiders brought the concept of name. They didn't know us. So they said, you're John, you're Bob, you're 00854, you're 33307, you're Kush, you're the... When they met us, they said, who are you? We said, I am. They said, who are you? I am that I am. No, that's not good enough. Who are you really? Some of us would say, okay, I'm man standing under tree. That was your name. If they saw you by a river, they say, what's your name? I am woman sitting by river. This is how we dealt with ourselves. Your name was your nature. In Western society, it's the reverse. Your nature is your name. Ugh. So what we call ourselves, we create our nature. What we call ourselves is creating our nature, not the other way around. Our nature, our soul. is not calling the name, is not producing the name. The name is producing our soul. My name, my given name was Lawrence Parker. My mother went to the movie, saw Lawrence of Arabia. See how you mothers do? Whole life. My mother went to saw Lawrence of Arabia when it first came out. She said, I want my son to be like that. She named me Lawrence. Lawrence, last name Parker, that's what it was. So when someone came up to me and said, what's your name? My name's Larry. Lawrence. So Lawrence and Larry started to create my being. Lawrence and Larry had no meaning, so my being had no meaning. I thought I had meaning. What do you call? I'm Larry. What does that mean? What is a Larry? What is a Lawrence? What is that? When I realized this little piece, that your name is your nature, or rather your nature is your name. When I realized that little piece, the first thing I had to do to gain success was change my name. Larry was broke and poor. Larry was homeless. Larry was living in the street riding the D train up and down from Brooklyn to Queens. That's Larry. Larry had a Larry reality. Then I woke up. I said, yo, I want to do this thing called hip hop. There was no hip hop, there was no rap, there was nothing. It's about 1977. I was about 13 when it hit me though. They in the park doing it. You can get a tape, hear somebody rapping on a cassette. Boom boxes were the thing back then. People used to, for the young people that might not know this, we used to walk around with big radios on the shoulder, holding it down like this, and we blast the music all through society. Imagine a dude walking down the street with a radio and it's blasting music. Yo, you don't stop. Keep on to the break of dawn. And all of this, and we got a big boom box. I saw older people walking around with the boom box. My ear would go up. Yo, who that? That sound like Melly Mel. Oh, who that? That sound like Treacherous 3. Oh, who that? That. But now I looked at them, I said, they successful. What's their name? Cool Mo D. What's a Cool Mo D? Special K. LA Sunshine. We never been, I thought LA meant like Larry Anderson Sunshine. It wasn't until I got to Los Angeles that I LA, Los Angeles Sunshine. Wow. All we got was LA Sunshine at the drop of a dime. Not only dandy want, you know what? First thing I learned through hip hop, to be successful, you got to change your name. When you change your name, you change your nature. I went from Larry to knowledge reigning supreme. Started right there. I said, you know, this is what I like. I like knowledge. I like learning. I'm going to name myself Knowledge Reigns Supreme. Just like man sitting under tree. That's where it comes from. Or I can say to you right now, you know, man in front of podium. Man teaching lesson. That's my name right now. That's what I'm called. That's what it is. So I said, knowledge reigns supreme. That's what's going to be on my life. That's what I want to be. That's what's going to be right there. That's my reality. That's my nature. The second I changed my name, my reality changed. How did it change? my perception changed. The environment didn't change. I did. When I changed, the environment changed. Here's the example. 9,000 years ago, Cush. I'm going to keep going back to this. They used to have a thing called the mystery system. Ancient Egyptian, Cushite, really. Egyptian, what they call it? Egyptian mysteries, Kemetic knowledge, Kemetic sciences. The Greeks would come years later to this, and they would look and they'd see on the walls of Africa, African temples, it would say, know thyself on the wall. Of course, it would be in African language. The point would be, know thyself. The foreigners would come and read and say, know thyself. Right, you got to know yourself. The priest would laugh at him. The Greek would walk by. It just says, know thyself. That's all I need. You just told me what it was. Know thyself. That's easy to understand. Know thyself.
House of Harley.
I kept 1 million people out of the knowledge. Young kid would come up. What does that say? The priest would say, know thyself. The young kid would ask like a kid would ask, what do you mean? Right there, the priest would see the character. Again, little kid run up. Matter of fact, 3 kids run up. What does that mean? What does that say? It says, know thyself, young lads. One kid says, what do you mean? The other kids say, come on, Larry, let's go. The priest would then say, hold up. You two, y'all can go. You, stand over here. Do you really want to know what that means? Young kid would say, yeah, I'd like to know what that means. The priest would say, come back in 7 years. Come back in 7. You never entered the school the moment you went. The moment you went to the school, you weren't allowed in. You went to the school. The priest saw your character and said, you can make it. Come back in 7 years. That young kid would have that on his mind now, 7 years. In 7 years, I'm going back. I'm going to this. He would go back to his parents. The parents were like, wow, they actually invited you into school? Yeah. I got to go back in 7 years, Mom. Wow. So Mom would keep you on that. Dad would keep you on that. 7 years, son, you going. You'd slip off the path, but your parents would be there for you. 7 years come, now you go back to the priest. What does that mean? The priest would say, well, here's the 10 commandments. Actually, what was called the 42 negative confessions in Africa got condensed down to 10 commands. It used to be, I have not killed today. I have not stolen today. I have not lied today. That was adopted by Western, philosophers, turned into Christianity, and now you get the 10 commandments. Even Judaism doesn't preach the 10 commandments. These are all English translations. Western philosophy breaks it down to 10 commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Don't steal. But what we don't realize, now that it's being forced on you, you don't realize that this was your character. These were not laws. The 10 commandments were never laws. They were never commandments. They were a character. It was the character you had to have to enter the temple. When you go before the priest, you would say, I have not stolen. I have not killed in 7 years. I have not sinned. I have done nothing. I have lived this out for 7 years. And the priest would say, you have the right character. Come on in. Now when you're in, they say, now what does that mean? Now you get sit down. They would call you a neophyte, you would come in, sit down. Here's the first lesson you would get. Matter of fact, I'll do it as an exercise. It'll speed us up. I'll just give you the knowledge. Here's what you'd learn 9,000 years ago in an ancient temple. Here's how you'd learn. Here's exactly how it would go down. You see that up there? It says, know thyself. You say, yes, I've been watching this now for 7 years. Can you tell me what it means? Now the priest would tell you this. Let's do the exercise ourselves. You can see exactly what it was. Here's the exercise. At the count of 3, we're all going to say, know thyself.
House of Harley.
We're going to say it out loud. We're going to say it within ourselves. Don't say it out loud. At the count of 3, say to yourself, know thyself. At the count of 3, not out loud, say it within. 1, 2, 3. The priest would then ask you after you did that. The priest would say, now what just spoke? What just spoke? Your mouth did not move. What spoke then? Let's do it again. At the count of 3, know thyself to yourself, not out loud. 1, 2, 3. The priest would say, who just spoke? You'd sit there, stand there, whatever. The priest would say, you didn't use your mouth to speak, but you spoke. To go even further, you heard yourself speaking. How's that possible? You just spoke without the mouth. You heard yourself speaking without the ears. The ears didn't hear anything, you know. These ears, these organs sticking out the side of my skull, there's no vibration hitting the stapes and everything going on in my ear. No vibration hit the ear, but I heard myself speaking. If you close your eyes, you could see your future. You could see your past. These two eyes do not see your past. Yet, you see your past. When you think about next week, you see it. Tough lessons these are. You just spoke without the mouth. You just heard yourself speaking without the ears. You could see without your eyes. The priest would then say to you, who are you then? Which one are you going to be? The outer voice or your inner voice? Who are you? You thought you was you. You thought you was your mouth, ears, and eyes until you walked in the temple. And they said, no. There is a real you and there's a fake you. There's a original you and then there is a copy of that original. There is a cause you and there is an effect of that cause. The inner you projects this body right here. This body right here. This head, you know, my 5% of brothers would say arm, leg, arm, head. Allah. This is it. But this is projected into the world. It is not you. This is not you. You are the light within it. The voice that speaks without the mouth is you. The sight that sees past, present, and future is you. The ears that hear, those are the MCs or singers. You know, when you write in your rhymes or you write in your songs, you hear them first. It's like someone is telling you you're right. It's like you humming it out, saying, you always do this first. Because there's no words. You're getting a vibration from somewhere else. And you're trying to translate the spirit world into your material world. So you're like, I hear this beat, I hear this. Yeah, criminal minded, you've been blinded, looking for a style like mine. Yeah. When you're writing, you hear first. You don't come up. You don't just sit down and say, criminal minded, you've been blinded. No. You sit, you got to go somewhere first. These eyes shut down. And this other sight takes over. And you start seeing yourself emceeing, singing, doing all kind of stuff. And that's how you get the right now. You hearing something, seeing something that's not in front of your face. The ancient priests would say to you, look, if you can see without your eyes, if you can hear without your ears, if you can speak without your mouth, then when all of this drops off, you're still doing the same thing. Speaking, seeing, and hearing. Your speaking, seeing, and hearing is not connected to the body. When the body drops off, the inner you continues on. It's the inner you that is creating the outer you, not the other way around. So the ancient priests would tell you, son, daughter, there is no death. They would say to you as you coming into the temple, you're already dead. Everybody else trying to save their life, they would tell you, listen, the dead you is already with you now. Get used to it. You're going to live forever. You don't die. That's Western philosophy. The ignorant die. Those who are aware never die. You are immortal. Once you know that for real, now you step past the material world. Everybody else still stuck in the law of the jungle, talking with this mouth, seeing with only these eyes, hearing only with these ears. Those who have entered the temple, they say, I get it. Let me talk more inside than outside. Let me listen a little more inside than out. Let me see more on the inside than I see on the out. The Bible says, greater is he that is within me than he that is within the world. That's where that comes from. Greater is he that's in me than this me that's in the world. This me that's in the world, I got to deal with time, space, gravity, all type of things going on. I could get past all that. There's another me that's immortal, timeless, and extremely powerful. The only problem is I'm not being me. I'm not being me. I'm being some other thing. And this is why I'm stuck in the position I'm in, because I'm not stuck. The body is. I'm not stuck. My body is. Now, the inner me can free my body. but my body can't free the inner me. Only the inner me can free the outer me. So once you realize, yo, I'm speaking now without the body. I'm talking now without the body. I'm hearing, I'm seeing without I'm being without the body. I exist without this. Now I know for certain when this drops off, I still got my sight, my hearing, and my speaking. Now I'm immortal. I don't live in the body anymore. I live from within myself. I'm practicing it every night before I go to sleep. I become the inner me. I brushed on it yesterday briefly at the concert. I said, before you go to sleep, spend 5 minutes on yourself. See yourself where you want to be. Most people, it's so, the most complex things in the world are so simple. That's why they're complex, because it's so simple. 5 minutes on yourself. Rest the body. Put this clump of flesh, put it down. Set it down. Put it in the bed, put it in a chair, set it down. And actually become the inner you. Be more of the inner you. Practice the inner you. That is the real reason for meditation. Not you're gonna om and ee and ah, and that's all Western. Meditation was never about relaxation. Ain't nothing relaxed in the universe. The universe is so vibrant and we can't even comprehend the activity of the universe. Western philosophy tells you only what it needs you to be a slave. So they say meditate and calm down. I'm going to give you these breathing techniques. It's going to help you to calm down. Now I want to be hype. I want to get the hell out of here. I don't need no time to be relaxed. I'll relax in my 18-bedroom mansion with 3 cars out front in the pool. That's when I'll relax. If I don't have that, I'm not trying to hear all this relax, chill, cool out. When you meditate, you're supposed to be practicing the inner you. That's all. Take a moment and become more of the voice that just said, know thyself. You see, when you know thyself, this is what it means to know that, not know thy body, not know thy name, not know thy skill or gift. Know yourself. What's the self? Source, energy, life force. Easy way to remember self. Source, energy, life force. You're not a human being that's Western. You're a force. We're going deeper now. You've already passed the first stage of neophyte. Neophyte learned that. This took some people 10 years to really figure it out. Once you get the knowledge, it don't mean you got it. You get it, now it's going to take you like 5-6 years to really understand this. So you would be the first student coming in and you got the first lesson. So every night you trying to figure out how you could be more the inner person. As you're trying to figure out the inner person, let's go to the next level. Just before you get to the level what is called the initiate, second level, you would start learning physics. We call it physics today. But back then it was just knowledge of God's reality. Today it's all chopped up. Physics is one thing, religion is another, mathematics is not science, but it's included. All this stuff is all chop. Back in the days it was one knowledge. awareness. You was just aware. Well, you was a neophyte. You said, look, I got the first lesson. The first lesson is I'm inner, not outer. And I'm immortal because I'm dead already. Those who attend Masonic lodges will recall that when you become Master Mason, they kill you. It's symbolic, but it's ancient. It's a symbolic death. Somebody come stab you, shoot you. They got some ritual going. They kill you. And you die, and what happens? You are resurrected. Because now you understand. I am already dead. So there is no death. You die every night when you go to sleep. You dead. You ever see people sleep? It's identical to death. You can look at a dead body and someone sleeping. You would not know. Every night when you go to sleep, you die. So just before you go to sleep, try to be more of that inner voice. That's the immortal you. That's the you that's not affected by physical reality. Okay, neophyte, now you know. Now let's go into physics. So this little body here is trapped in physical reality. What's physical reality? We live in a three-dimensional space. They call it, 3 dimensions plus time makes 4 dimensions. So you got back, forward, right, left, up, down. That's all your body can do. Take it in. I know it's hard. Back, forth, right, left, up, down. That's it. Your body can't do nothing. That's the direction that your body goes in. Right, left, back, forth, up, down. That's 3 dimensions of space. And time is another
House
dimension.
of Harley.
Time. So you got 4 dimensions. Back, forth, right, left, up, down, and time. But there's a 5th dimension. Actually, it was a singing group back in the 60s. Hot group too, by the way. One of the greatest. They did a song called Age of Aquarius, among others. But there is a 5th dimension. Back, forth, right, left, up, down, in and out. In and out is a direction. If everybody else is using 3 dimensions, if you want to be successful, use 4. Everybody else is back, forward, right, left, up, down. You go in and out. How do you go in and out? I just told you it was the neophyte lesson. The inner you is more powerful than the outer you. You can go in and out. You have 2 more directions. This is a direction, and this is a direction. My voice going out like this is a direction. Me saying is also a direction. And you heard what I said, right? How is that? I didn't say anything. So physics tells us we only have 3 dimensions. Spiritual knowledge says that we have yet another one. We have a 5th dimension. We can go in and out. Okay, so now that you know that you're living in a 5th dimension, now you're outside of physical reality. You're outside of it. It's going to take you some years to really believe that, really become subjective to it, not objective to it. You have to become your knowledge, not study it. You can no longer study your history objectively. You have to study your history subjectively, meaning when you read about Marcus Garvey, that's you. Not, there's Marcus and here's me. No, there's me. When you read your Bible, you are Yeshua, Jesus. Not, there's Jesus, there's Yeshua, and here's me. Never was the lesson. The only reason Yeshua even existed was so that you could see who you are. That's it. This idea of praising Jesus, I'm sorry. That wasn't the original lesson. It's cool, no doubt. Praise the Lord. But that's for beginners. It's all good, man. If you got people running around, don't know what to do with themselves, the priest got to think fast. Just praise the Lord. If you could just do that, maybe we could get ahead here. Just praise the Lord. Okay, that's the beginning. But when you enter the temple, you put little boy stuff to the side, little girl stuff go to the side. Now I'm not praising the Lord like that. Of course, we respect all great people. All great teachers are respected. But the only reason they're here is to show us our potential. What we are supposed to be doing is what they're doing. This is it. So the physics lesson would be space, time, fifth dimension. You start living in another dimension altogether. Everybody else trapped by three dimensions. You can go in and out. You speak with a different voice. You go places in your mind. You may be in 2016, but you're already in 2026. You know your mind is outside of outside of time. The mind has nothing to do with time. Right, left, up, down, back, forward, time. And you. Another dimension. You are outside of space and time. Can you come over and do my hair? Couldn't make it. They deserve the knowledge. They're not God. I'm only going to attract those to me that are like me. I'm not going to attract the opposite of me. It's against physics. I'm only going to attract another knowledge reigning supreme. That's why you're here. Now you become the initiate in the temple. Why? Because you realize there is no priest. There's only character. My character matched the character of the priest. That's why I'm in the temple. The priest built the temple and only attract to them their mind. So if I'm sitting in the class with the priest, it's not here's me and there's the priest. Nope. This is the universe speaking to itself. There's something the universe wants to say to itself. See, the universe uses the same concept, you know. You see that inner voice that I just explained to you? Well, your outer voice is the inner voice of the universe. Oh, I just caught that. That's beautiful. I'll say it again. It's a little much. Your outer voice, This voice you're using right now, ba 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 ba. This is the inner voice of the universe. The universe don't have a mouth, so it's using yours. You better get it. Every word you say, you're going to attract to your life. We had to learn these lessons the hard way, and some of you clapping are clapping because you learned it the hard way too. We had to learn this the hard way. We learned it raw in hip-hop. In fact, I was the first one to learn it, to be honest with you. My first group, Boogie Down Productions, we came out with an album called Criminal Minded, okay? But I knew metaphysical law. Came out with the album Criminal Minded, guns on the cover. We blazing in the hood. DJ shot to death. Yeah, Criminal Minded. Scott LaRock's dead. Shot in the head. Be careful what you say. Slick Rick, he had a song called Children's Story. Ran up the block doing 83, crashed into a tree near university, escaped alive, but the car was tatted, rat-a-tat-tat, and all the cars scattered. Go back, listen to the record. The whole song happened to his life for real. The whole song, it happened. He ran up the block doing 83 in a car. Crashed into a tree. It wasn't on University Avenue, but he crashed the car. Cops came. It was a big deal. He lived this whole lyric out. Notorious B.I.G. said, "I'm ready to die." Biggie was doing fine until he said, "Ready to die." Universe said, "Okay." Tupac last album was Machiavelli. Machiavelli faked his death. Be careful what you say out your mouth, especially with this knowledge, which is why everybody don't deserve this. You give this knowledge to a person without the right character, they'll kill themselves. They'll destroy themselves, and their blood is on your hand for teaching it. This is where the secrets come from. They're not really secrets. It's that you're not ready, and why would I damage you with knowledge you can't even handle? Your character can't handle this. To even have this knowledge, you got to have the 10 Commandments as a habit. Everybody's stealing. Your character's like, I just don't feel good about this. Everybody killing. I just don't feel good about this. Everybody lying. I just don't feel good about this. But there's some other people ordained by God to run around with the mat, hitting dudes up. Ordained by God. That's where militaries come from. The universe got a section for murderers. And if you a true murderer, the universe got you. Imagine, there's people walking around, their gift in life is murder. You ever wonder why generals killed 1,000 people? They lived to old ages. Oh, you see old generals talking. Yeah, we was in World War II. I shot about 15 Asians while I was out there. Yeah, them Germans had nothing on us. He old man, 80 years old. How you live a long life killing all them people? I'm ordained to do it. Some of the greatest thieves in the world, starting with the United States government, how are they so successful? On the dollar, it says, "In God we trust," and everything about the dollar is the devil. How is that possible? Because when you have advanced knowledge, you now realize morality is not divine. Morality is man-made, good, bad, what's right, what's wrong. That's all man-made. God don't care about that. God will raise up a thief quick. You lived your life great. Or look at the people, the two people that died next to Jesus on the cross, two thieves. Preachers don't ever preach this. At the last day of Jesus' life, he's sitting there on the cross. Three men are dying on the cross. One man says, if you really the Christ, get us up off this cross. The other dude says, shut up. This guy has no reason to be here. He said, Lord, forgive me. I'm a sinner. I belong on this cross. You don't. Jesus turned to him and said, you will be with me in paradise today. Today. Not next year. Today. Nobody preached that. Wherever Jesus is, there's a thief next to him. That's in the Bible. Wherever Jesus is, they say Jesus is sitting at the right hand of God Almighty, and next to Jesus is a thug thief. It had nothing to do with whether this person was evil or not. God don't care about that. What's your character? On the cross, we all dying, but my character. I am a thief, I am a liar, I am a murderer, but my character recognizes you. And if I could just recognize you, I could be saved from this nonsense I'm going through in the body. Jesus took that dude with him. And let me even go deeper with you. This is Gnosticism. Look that word up too. Gnostic philosophy says, first of all, Jesus never died on the cross. Actually, Muslims say the same thing. Jesus never died on the cross. So if Jesus told this dude over here, you're going to be with me in paradise today, and Jesus never died on the cross, what happened to dude? Did anybody die on the cross? Really? Or is this the story we're told to keep us complacent, keep us relaxed? You don't have to have no responsibility for your own life. Jesus. You're not God, Jesus. You'll never be holy and perfect, only Jesus. Oh, no. That was not the original lesson. The original lesson was that you are perfect right now. Perfect. Western philosophy tells you ain't nobody perfect because they wasn't. They say God don't exist because no God was ever created in Europe. Europe produced no religions. Y'all not hearing me. You're not hearing me. Asia, Europe produced no gods. There are no Asian gods. Buddha is black. Krishna is black. Name any Asian god. They all black people from Africa. Europe produced no gods, no religion, no spirituality comes out of Europe. Nothing. That's why they're telling you, you ain't God. How can a person that never produced God tell you, you ain't God? Imagine you're an architect. Or you come from an architectural family, a family of architects, and a dude that can't even make a dog house is telling you, you ain't an architect. This is the point. But now the initiate knowledge, let me go deeper with you. Because now we're going to get deep into some blackness now. The priests are the minority in the black community. Africa ain't no happy place. Too many Afrocentric or African studies or black studies scholars, we tend to romanticize over Africa. Oh, Africa, the great Africa. Oh, Africa. No. Africa's a criminal continent. Been that way for thousands and millions of years. Ain't nothing happy and jappy in Africa. You go to Africa right now, they bugging out over there. The priests are the minority in Africa. The rest of the Africans were trying to kill the priests. History's repeating itself again and again, trying to tell us the same lesson. Here we go again now. And we could see it within hip hop. We could see the whole of human history within the history of hip hop. All of it. Here we are in the Bronx. Bronx is Africa. A dude named Cool DJ Herc rises up. He starts playing the breaks of records. Little dudes like me start dancing to the breaks. They call us break dancers. Africa Bambaataa comes forward, lays down law. Peace, love, unity, having fun. That's what hip hop's gonna be. Breaking, MCing, graffiti art, DJing. Africa Bambaataa, Zulu Nation. Grandmaster Flash comes, cut, mixing, and scratching. The technology is laid down for us. Then what happens? Black folks say, oh man, Grandmaster Flash ain't nobody, man. Please, man, Flash, who's that? Don't support him. Don't respect him. Just get out of here. Africa Bambaataa, he ain't nobody. Man, get out of here. Not Cool Herc, you ain't nobody, man. Get up out of here. I'll do your rapping, though. I'll do your breakdancing, though. I'll do the graffiti art, though. But I ain't interested in you. Take it back to Imhotep. Imhotep, African black man, first one to build step pyramids in Kush. Forget the pyramids of Giza, they copies. The first step pyramids right there, Saqqara. Imhotep, first architect in the world to build pillars. The Greek, what they call Greek pillars, African. Imhotep, the head of the Egyptian Navy, the head of medicine, the chief priest, Imhotep. The first one to be deified as a god, as a man, Imhotep. Well, the Africans that Imhotep was trying to teach were trying to kill him. Do I need to talk about Akhenaten and Nefertiti? Akhenaten, another black man, Nefertiti, black woman. They said, all these old gods, Amun Ra, we're going to get rid of that. The true God is the Aten, the sun. The priest, black priest, tried to kill him. They had to run. What am I saying? It's what I'm saying. This is the initiate knowledge right here. Not all this weird spirituality. Here's the knowledge right here. You are a minority in your own community. The first enemies you have is your own community. Get used to it. Now you got a body of white people. Greeks, Romans, even Persians and Arabs, not white, but not African in culture. So we black priests that teach the knowledge, our own people dissing us, pushing us around, don't want to support us. Oh, that's KRS again, preaching, oh boy. He think he this and that. You must learn. Come on, man. Howard University never calls me. Harvard's always calling. Same thing with the African priests. We in our own communities trying to teach people. They say, man, get out of here. We don't want to hear that. Look, man, you going down to the strip club, G? Yeah, man. Yo, we going to get this, G. Yeah. Of African priests trying to come through, show dudes, listen, you can live outside of this and be immortal, live forever. Now, I ain't interested in that. And a matter of fact, I ain't interested in you. Get the hell up out of here. We go right into the white community. Guess who opens their arms for us? You want the truth? Here it is. Guess who opens their arms? Now, in ancient knowledge, it was the Greeks. They were the first ones, black folk on the island of Crete. Crete was that little piece right there between Africa and what would become Greece and Rome. You got Crete. African priests studying and teaching in Crete. Teach these white folk. When Africa had whole civilizations, circumnavigated the whole planet and knew the stars back and front, there was no Europe. With all due respect, what we call Europeans today, white people, what we call that today, they were living like animals. Literally, not no exaggeration, they were living with and like animals. The African priests came to Europe and to Greece, Greece, Rome, and the rest of Europe. Really, Italy, I'm not going to get into Italy, came up through Italy, Greece, Rome, and guess who opened their arms? Young white people came up. Yo, I heard you say something about an inner voice. Can I know the knowledge? Can I get that? We the African priests, we in exile in our own land. Our own people don't want us. We say, okay, come back in 7 years. Young white boy, come up. 7 years later, I'm up. Okay, what's your name? Pythagoras? All right, Pythagoras, we're going to show you mathematics. Pythagoras goes into the schools, and that's real knowledge. Pythagoras studied 18 years in Egypt. Okay. Goes into the schools, learns from black folk who can't teach their own people. We get mad when white people say we savages. But why did they come? Where does that come from? Black people now got to go teach others. Krishna, Hindu god, black. Matter of fact, Krishna means black. It means the black one. From Krishna you get Buddha. Or from Hinduism you get Buddhism. Buddha, another black man, but can't get along with his own people. And so now where do we go? We go into the hands of whoever will take us. We're exiled, we're homeless. So we go into Greece and we teach the Greeks how to build, how to think, how to run nations. The Greeks rise up out of their state. Greece turns to Rome. Rome takes everything that ancient Egypt was about, because the ancient Egyptian priests could not teach the Egyptian people. So they went into Greece and taught Greece. Greece taught Rome. Rome came back and took Africa with Africa's own knowledge. You go to Washington, D.C. today, all that's African. Even Benjamin Banneker helped plan the city out. They got an obelisk in the middle. The Washington Monument, it's an obelisk. That's called Cleopatra's Needle. They got an Egyptian obelisk. What would America want with anything to do with Africa, and they're robbing Africa? What would America, why would you be praising the one you're robbing? Because maybe you're not really robbing them. Maybe what you got, America, was given to you. Maybe you got what you got by default. No robbery, no murder, no kidnap, no slavery, just African stupidity. You go to the museums, go to any of them. I've been to all of them. Museum in Cairo, go to the Louvre in France, go to the Noise Museum in Germany, Berlin, go to the British Museum in London. You see all your culture there. And first, the neophyte goes into these things and say, look, they stole our culture.
House of Harley.
Look. They stole it. The initiate knows the truth. No, it was given to them. Most of our culture in these museums are in broken up pieces. You got to ask why. Why is everything African broken up, fragmented? We don't have the whole of nothing. How is that possible? Well, before white folk got into Africa, Africans were in Africa. And the buildings that Imhotep built, Africans tore them down. The knowledge that Akhenaten put forward, Africans discarded it and wrote his name out of history, and Nefertiti's. This ain't white people, these are black people doing this. White people are coming along, picking up the fragments, the pieces, and making museums and honoring the culture and trying to interpret the symbols. What are black people doing? Same museum on the corner for everybody, open for anybody to walk in. We on our way to the liquor store. You ain't interested in your culture. You don't have the character. White folk, taught by the African priest, got the character of the priest. See, if you really want to talk about white supremacy, let's just go here real quick. I'll get back to the initiate knowledge. Let me digress real quick. We throw this word around, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. Wake up now. This is your day to wake up. When you say white supremacy, the first thing that comes to your mind is kidnaps, rapes, theft, murder, hangings, burnings, shootings. One race believing that it's over another race. I'm white, so I'm superior. That's not white supremacy. There's nothing supreme about murder. There's nothing supreme about lynching. There's nothing supreme about racism. So this word white supremacist, that's wrong. What you want is to meet a real white supremacist. You want to meet a real supreme white man or woman. A white supremacist is someone that can love me more than I can love myself. That's a supreme white person. Hate is not supreme. Love is. Judgment is not supreme. Mercy and forgiveness is. Argument and debate is not supreme. Understanding and intelligence is. So when you say white supremacy, be careful with that. Because you're telling young white kids that the only way to be supreme as a white person is through kidnap, rape, theft, and murder? Be the priest wherever you go. Wake up all minds wherever you at. Wake up everybody's mind. You are the priest. You don't teach young white kids that white supremacy, even if they shirk from it, they still know that to be supreme in white means I gotta be violent. No, supremacy is not violence. Peace is. I love it when I meet real white supremacists. Yeah, we sit down and we could build. We could talk on equal levels. White man, black man. We're one man, really. We understand that concept. This is the supreme white man. A white supremacist running around killing him, that's not supreme. So be careful with this, but this is, I tell you this, because this is how the priests think. We don't know about race. Race is an illusion. What is black? What is white? What is red? What is yellow? Illusions. Here, I got to digress again. That's black. This microphone is black. No one in this room is this black. Nobody. I don't care how dark you are. You are not black. No, you're not. You are a dark brown. All of humanity is brown. White people are not white. Look. This is white. If white people look like this, they'd be dead. No human being can exist as a white person. This is the color white. Put any white person's hand up against it, will not match. So how are we really conducting ourselves? How are we really thinking? Oh, I'm a black man. Then you're going to have black man problems. I'm a God. You're going to have God problems. Take your pick. I choose to be God. I know what it means to be black. Don't get it twisted. I know exactly what it means to be black. I'm proud to be a black man. But that's for the neophyte. That's for the kindergarten. When I'm talking to young boys who happen to be 40, I talk to blackness. Yeah, we black. I know what it means to you. But if you want the truth, all of humanity is brown. White people are beige. Don't take my word for look around. White people are beige. Ain't nothing white about white people, ain't nothing black about black. Could you imagine seeing a red man walk across, and not red man. I'd like to see Reggie Noble walk past here, no doubt. But could you imagine seeing a red, we call Native Americans red. We call Asians yellow. This is backwards. And if you can escape this thinking, you will escape the prison of the mind. Okay, I digress. Let me bring you back. Thank you for that. I was just about to ask. So now you're the initiate. Why? Because you think outside of the average person's thinking. Now you can be successful. Why? Because you're not trapped in three-dimensional space and time. You're not trapped by the labels that your government gives you. You're not trapped by, I'm black, he's white, they red, I'm yellow, I'm this. You're free. You're truly free. Know the truth, and it shall set, the truth shall set you free. The truth. With my last 15 minutes, let's go deeper. So now you're the initiate. Why? Because the 10 Commandments is your habit. Nobody got to tell you not to steal or kill you. That's already you. You don't exist outside in the physical anymore. You're more of your inner voice than you are your outer voice. Now you get your second degree. As you're getting the second degree, now you're going to start using your mind. I'm going to take this truth and put it in hip hop so that we can understand. I can speak in this language, but the essence of what I'm saying can be put into anything. I'm discussing hip hop because that's who I am. You can put this into anything. When you say hip hop, this is now your second degree. You say hip hop. When you say hip hop, what are you saying? Well, first, everyone has a lot of ideas as to what hip hop is, and of course, this is what the priest would tell you. This is why the word hip hop is so magnificent. Because, well, here it is. Hip means to know. You have hips on the side, hips. There are rose hips. The buds that are inside roses are called hips. And you have the common use of hip, which means to know. To be hip to something is to be aware of it. I'm hip to that. The word hip comes from the ancient African hippie-cat, H-E-P-I-cat, C-A-T. Hippie-cat is the original Wolof word for hip. The word hip comes from Africa, the Wolof tribe. It was originally called hippie-cat. And the hippie-cat was someone whose eyes were open. Surprisingly enough, that's what they call the Buddha, the awakened one. Well, hip was applied, or hippie-cat was applied to the one that woke up, the one that was aware. We took it through jazz culture, World War I and II. Jazz culture gets the word, brings it to America, and starts using hip-cat, and then hip. To be hip means to know. Hop is a springing upward. Jump, hop, hopping, hop, hop, hop. You hopping around. It's a springing upward. It's a movement, leaping up. So when you say hip hop, you're dealing with consciousness or intelligence, knowing, awareness, leaping up, hopping up, springing up, moving. Hip hop, intelligence, moving. Hip hop, hip, knowing, hop, movement. Hip hop, I am hip to my hop. I know why I move. That's what it means to be hip hop. I know why I move. And the only way you can know why you move is if the inner voice is moving you. When the body's moving you, you don't know why you're moving. The body moves when it's cold, when it's hot, when it's hungry. It's stimulated to movement. Eat salt, you move one way. Eat sugar, you move another way. Drink this, you move there. Drink that, you move here. That's all body. But when you're inside, I am aware of my movement. I am hip to my hop. I know why I move. Now, when you know why you move, when you know why you're moving, you can be successful. The secret to success is not to do anything. It's to get out of your own way. Nature is already going to make you successful. You just keep botching it up. Get this. Nature, the very universe itself, already sees success for you. The universe is successful. You come from the universe. How can you not be successful? The universe is successful. The sun rises every day, followed by the moon, followed by some showers. The universe is successful. You come from the universe. Why you ain't successful? You're shooting yourself in the foot. You got to get out of your own way. How do you get out of your own way? Well, your body's the only thing in the way. Get control of the flesh, you got control of your life. How do you get control of the flesh? Stop living through it. Live through your inner self, not your outer self. Now you have control. This is how we became successful. They used to call us Afro-Americans. We said we're hip-hop. we gained a whole new reality. We know what it means to be African American. Of course we do. But as long as we called ourselves African American, we were living an African American experience. The minute we said, I am hip hop, we started living a whole different experience. Do you know why you move? Well, I got to speed it up and get you to your master's degree. Get you to your perfection degree. I hope you get this quick initiate part. Are you hip to your hop? Do you know why you move, or are you just being stimulated? Are you moving you, or are circumstances moving you? You're not going to be successful if you can't move you. Imagine if you wanted to pick this rag up. I got this rag right here. I said, I want to pick the rag up. My hand keep going like this. I said, but then I'm trying, why can't you pick this up? Why can't, why? I want to be over here. Hand keep doing everything other than where I want to be. I got to get control of this hand. This hand is going everywhere I don't want to go. Why? Well, this is cold. This is hot. This is scary. This is threatening. Well, if you're on the inside, you don't feel pain. Let me say this again. When you live from the inside, you don't feel pain. Meaning, people can't harm your emotions. When people say you ain't never gonna be nothing, they only talking to your ears, not you. You look at your situation, be like, man, it's hopeless here. I got a life sentence and I'm at the bottom of the prison. No, you're not. Believe that you are not there and you will not be there. Tell your friends this when you leave here. Tell them, I'm gonna break you out of prison. Here's how we gonna do it. Every day you're gonna see yourself sleeping next to me. Spend 5 minutes every day. You're going to see yourself sitting with me at the table. I know it seems impossible right now, but just do it. You ain't got no choice. Just try it. Test me. Dare me. Just try. You ain't got no. You'll see. Mark my words. I'm standing here in front of you today. You could call me a liar. You could say none of this stuff is all fantasy. But I'm telling you, for real, I've seen people who supposed to be in prison leave because they knew this. And people who shouldn't be in prison stay because they didn't know this. Morality is not divine. Divine people walk in and out of prison. What? In and out of hospitals. What? In and out of universities. What? In and out of armies. What? So in closing, the master degree level is this. Those that have ears to hear, hear. When your perception changes, your world changes. The world does not change ever. The world has always been the same way. It's when you change, your world changes. Those that have time to study Einstein, he put out something called a theory of relativity and special relativity. But the theory of relativity says that time and space are relative to you. That's why it's called the theory of relativity, because time and space is only what you make. Here's what Einstein said. He said, you have like a loaf of bread. He said, space is like a loaf of bread. And if everybody gets the same loaf, they all get the same size loaf. But some people cut their loaf into 20 pieces. Some people cut their loaf into 10 pieces. Some people cut their loaf into 5 pieces. Some people cut their loaf into 2 pieces, but it's the same loaf. Your perception determines what time and space is going to be for you. This is how you do miracles. This is how it goes down. The world doesn't change, you do. Here's the example. An electrician walks through the room. Right now we talking. An electrician walks in. The electrician sees electronic knowledge. You know what? I touched on this yesterday. Before I make this example, let me say this. Bring up what I said yesterday. The brain cannot see without words. Take that in. This is the master level right here. The brain cannot see without words. Anything the brain does not have a word for, it can't see it. There's things in this room right now that are going unnoticed to you because you don't have a word for it. Imagine that. This very room, right now, this very room, there's things going on in this room that's happening right now. But because you don't have the words, your eyes don't even go there. The more words you have, the more things you could see. So an electrician walks in the room. The electrician has electronic words. Ohm, amp, watts, wire. We ain't thinking about that. But the electrician is. The electrician walks in. Oh, that's a halogen light, and that takes 60 watts. That's connected to that. Matter of fact, this whole thing is wired up in a certain kind of way. The electrician sits down, could tell you about the whole wiring of the room. This is an electronic room to an electrician. The electrician comes in and sits down. Follow the electrician. Here comes a painter. The painter walks in. That's not white, that's eggshell white. That's a 3345 code white. Matter of fact, it needs a new paint job. As a matter of fact, here's the white up here. Well, this is special white. This is gray, and it's for weather. It's a special kind of so-and-so paint. Oh, the bleachers are painted blue and yellow. Oh, that's not blue. That's some other, that's cobalt blue. That's sky blue. That's blue. A painter walks in the same room, and the room shows itself to the painter according to the painter's knowledge. The painter's sitting next to an electrician. The electrician sees an electronic room. The painter sees a painter's room. It's the same room. Room didn't change. The people did. Okay, so followed by the electrician, the painter, here comes the plumber. Plumber sits down. Hey, these pipes are coming through. That's where the water's coming from. That's the toilet water over there. That's the water that's going to water the grass over here. I see how they got the pipes going. The room changed again a third time. This room done changed 3 times already. But did the room change? Or did the words change? The words change the perception of the people speaking the word. In the beginning was the word. The more words you know, the more things you can see. Reality is based on words. Electrician walk in, see an electronic room. Painter walks in, see a painter's room. Plumber walks in, see the plumber room. Why? Because they have electronic, painter, and plumber knowledge, which are only words. So now the priestly knowledge. So now a priest walks in after the painter. The priest sees God. Now you walk in the room. The electrician sees electronics. The plumber sees the plumbing room. The painter sees the painting. You see God in the room. This is the mastery level right here. This is it. You create your reality through the words you choose to speak. When you speak God, you see God. If you never have the word God in your mouth, you are never going to see God. People all the time, they say all kind of other stuff other than God. They give power to all kinds of things other than God. Okay, so after the priest walks in, a mother walks in. A mother sees parenting. She sees kids. She sees families. Come on now. The words you choose is the life you're going to live. That's why I say I am hip hop. Because every time I say that, I create that reality for myself. I stay free. This is the name we gave ourselves. The government never called us hip hop. They called us African American. They called us white, black, Asian, Mexican. That's what they called us. What you call yourself? We called ourselves hip hop. And we escaped the entire American system. They want to downplay us. They want to have us on the radio sounding ridiculous. Anything the devil hates, they're going to show it to you in its worst form. And this is what the priest needs to know. Whenever you see something in its worst form, go to it. Because the system's only trying to show you that so that you could be thrown off guard. When the system of oppression, you know you're in a system of oppression. Everybody. That system gonna come to you and give you something good? I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. An oppressed system, if they tell you something is good, it's bad. And whatever they say is bad, okay? You listen to us on the radio, saying all kind of ridiculousness, stupidity on the radio all day and all night. The priest looks past that. That's what they want us to sound like. What's the truth? There's a KRS-One. There's real leadership in hip-hop that they don't want you to know about. I check all these stations. All of them. BET don't like me. MTV don't like me. VH1 don't like me, but I got all their awards. No, you don't understand how powerful this is. And I'm not saying this to give myself any credit. I'm showing you who you are. When I put out the self-destruction, right? Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. Black radio never played the record. In New York, it was WBLS, Kiss FM. They told me the record was too long and too conscious. Black people, go back to the ancient priests. You know how self-destruction got played? Started with Ralphie. You hit it right on the nail. I was about to say, oh man. It started with Ralph, but Ralph he's talking about a guy named Ralph McDaniels in New York. He had a small show, I think it was Video Music Box. Ralph, black priest Ralph, he quickly knew what it was and played the record, but his station was only New York based. It only went to the 5 boroughs, so that was it. You know how we got national play? White dude named Ted Demme. Never forget his name, ever, if you hip hop. This dude right here, little short, fat white man, Ted Demme, one of my best friends. And I mean friend, not just in professional. This was my dude, okay? We sitting in the Bronx, me, him, and Fab Five Freddy. He broke, Freddie broke, I'm broke. We all sitting there thinking about what we gonna do. Now imagine, we are major recording artists and we broke. Don't get it twisted. He's like, yo, I heard you did that record, yo. Now, I'm going to skip you the story, how it all, because my first record, My Philosophy, Fab Five Freddy, his first job ever as a video director was on my album, on my record called My Philosophy. And I only wanted him to do the record because he was a graffiti artist, and I wanted to keep it hip hop. So I was like, Freddie, could you do my video? And he rocked it. It's the My Philosophy video, classic video to this day. That's Fab Five Freddy, his first job. When Ted Demi saw that he was able to do videos, Ted put him on at MTV. Ted Demi became an executive at MTV. They didn't realize how black Ted was. Ted been hanging with us. You don't understand. This is the Bronx, dude. Only a few white people walking around. It was like him and MC Search. Third base, remember that? Dudes walking around, only a few. But they knew the struggle. And so when we put out Self-Destruction, Ted Demi was a high-level executive at MTV. He was like, yo, they ain't playing it, bring it over here. Stop. Ancient Africa. Yo, we trying to save our people. We got this thing called Stop the Violence. Yo, you ain't popping that coochie? Yo, what? This is truth. This is black people. I say, yo, we got something to save our kids. Oh, the record's too long. It don't fit in the format. We shot a video. Ted Demi snatched it up on this show called Yo MTV Raps. He invented that. He said, yo, we're going to put it on my show. That record blasted all over the country. White, black, Asian, everybody got to hear it. This is the truth of how you're going to move. If you're looking at white and black, you ain't going to be successful. You got to look at God and devil. And most of the time, the devil going to look like your people. You better get this now. So the mastery level at the end of this now, your perception creates your reality. The more words you know, the more things you can see. The more words you make up, the more you make up your reality. Start calling yourself different stuff. Start telling a different story about yourself. Because success is only based on the story you tell about yourself. That's it. Last point, and I'm out of here. Perception.
House of Harley.
I'm going to rip this out. Matter of fact, no. You know what? I'm going to take this water. This water's been bothering me all this time. I'm knocking it over. I'm putting it. This is Dancini water. Product of Coca-Cola. It's probably worth about 10 cents, this water. Probably worth about 10 cents. I'm going to show you how to create wealth right now. You see this water? Now, this water been here. I could pick anything, really. But I just chose this water. Okay, this water right here. This is the water. Okay, Dancini water. It's right here. Worth about maybe 10 cents, 25 cents. You can get a case of these for probably $2, $3, $4. Less than $5, you can get a case of Dancini water. It's probably worth 25 cents. Now, because I know who I am, and because I'm not Larry, I'm knowledge reigning supreme. The story I tell about myself is the perception that you give me. There's no school for me. I didn't go to school and somebody said, are you KRS-One? I woke up one day and said, I'm KRS-One, and you believed it. I said I'm KRS-One, and you said, okay. Now, here's Dancini. 25 cents. Now, I'm going to sign my name to this. Because I am KRS-One. And I believe that God walks with me in whatever I do, and I can only attract God's to me. I just wrote my name on this, KRS-One. This bottle now, I'm going to write my name over here too. This bottle now represents the historical event of today. This is the physical manifestation of today's event. There's cameras here, brother right here, brother in the back, people on the side, so on, okay? This bottle is now in history. This is a historical item. I just picked it up right here. I wrote my name on it. How much do you think we can get for this on eBay now? No, don't laugh. You better learn it. Literally, if we said, yo, KRS just spoke at Allen University, this is the historical evidence of him being there. How much you think we can get on eBay as we start asking the auction? We start off $100. $100 for this water right here. And by the way, because KRS-One wrote on it, you know, your rhymes may be dope after you drink this. You may actually drink this, and if you really believe, this will help your rhymes. How much you think we can now get literally on eBay? This thing went from 25 cents a second ago. We could literally get $100 for this. This right here, I'm gonna put it right. I know y'all scheming on it right now. I know all y'all scheming right now. This is a bottle of water. Control your mind. I'm trying to show you something. Don't get caught up. This is still a bottle of water, a worthless bottle of water. But because I'm telling a different story about it, its value goes up. You could take anything in your house and tell a different story about it and sell it. Go to your wardrobe. Stop saying, oh, that's an old cloak. No, that's my grandmother's coat. She took that to see Malcolm X down in 1965. Y'all better get it. Tell a different story about the possessions you already have. Look, last point. I keep saying last point. Here's my real closing, because you got to get this. Here's an example. So you got two people. We're sitting on the stoop. We're outside. We're sitting on the stoop. Me and my man. My man says, I'll keep on bringing and singing until your ears is ringing and steaming, gleaming and dreaming. True, I'm seeing with meaning. Yo, that was corny, man. What kind of rhyme was that? Man, that's garbage. Now, mind you, we both broke. We both poor. We both ain't got nothing. He spits his rhyme. I'll keep on bringing and singing until your ears is steaming. That's corny. We both stay broke. We both sitting in poverty. Here's the opposite. I'll keep on bringing and singing until your ears is ringing. Yo, that was the hottest rhyme I ever heard. Yo, G, that right there, yo, do it again. I'll keep on bringing and singing until your ears is ringing. Yo, that was so crazy. Yo, you my man right now. Yo. Now, what just happened? Value went up. When you compliment your brothers and sisters, you raise their value. The reason why we're sitting in poverty is because we don't cherish one another. We don't compliment one another. We're not telling the right story about one another. This is what hip hop is all about. We were sitting here with nothing. But dude said, yo, I'm Method Man. I said, let's go. That's Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang has no value. What is a Wu-Tang clan? Nobody but 8 brothers who fell in love with each other. And went all out. Raekwon said meth was dope. Matter of fact, it was Method Man first that stepped up with Protect Your Neck. When he got on, he said Raekwon was hot. He didn't say he was hot. He said, my man Raekwon's hot. Raekwon stepped up. He didn't say he was hot. He said the guy that do the beats is hot. RZA's hot. RZA said, nah, it ain't about me. It's about this dude called Old Dirty Bastard. He's the hot one. They threw it around. You look at Run DMC. All they did was praise Jam Master Jay. My DJ, my DJ. You don't praise yourself. That's how you stay poor. Humble yourself and praise your brother. Praise your sister. Speak success into them.
House of Harley.
See them as valuable, and they will be valuable to you. The electrician, the plumber, the painter. If you see your brother is worthless, then you standing next to a worthless person, you're disrespecting yourself. You want to be successful, you got to stand next to successful people. So even if dude ain't got a dime in his pocket, he's successful. He's the one I need to be dealing with. His talent is great. This is how you get there. We had nothing. This is all we had. We had to big each other up. And when we bigged each other up, guess what? The white mainstream started paying. For no reason. Just because we said, a hip hop, you don't stop. Now white America comes in. And why does white America? Because when we said, hip hop, you don't stop, our parents said, get the hell out of here with that. You're not hearing me. Don't touch my turntable. That music is worthless. You ain't going nowhere with that rap BS. He was like, damn, Ma, this is who I am. I don't care who you are. You're going to do what I say around here. We ran over. Well, does anybody love me? Oh, yeah, RCA Records did. Sony Records did. Columbia Records did. Yeah, Jewish owned, Italian owned, Greek owned, not black owned. Because black folk looked at their young kids and say they was worthless. Jews said, nah, I see the value in you. Now you got Jay-Z. You want the truth? The truth gonna set you free. So the words you choose is the life you're gonna live. You are all masters now. Live accordingly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for KRS-One. All right, we do have to get out of here in about 15 minutes. Chris is going to stick around for just a little while and take a few pictures. I want Dr. Kevin Trumpeter, who please give it up for Dr. Kevin Trumpeter, who is the brainchild of this event tonight and the Hip Hop Studies Conference. Please say a few words.
All right. Thanks everybody again for coming out to Allen University tonight. We hope you had a good time. We hope you learned a lot. Clearly there's a reason they call this guy the teacher. So come down. You can meet him now. He'll be around for the next 15 minutes or so. And please come join us again next year.